system before it gets hot enough to reach your hot water level. And that wastes water. It's a fair bit of water wasted that way. All hot water systems waste a bit of hot water, but the gas instantaneous wastes more than any other hot water system. Okay, that's my hot water deal. Now I'm going to move on to lighting. Lighting is the next thing to look at. In fact, it should be the first thing to look at in every house for becoming more energy efficient because it's so easy. And the main thing is to go for efficient lights. Replace all your incandescent bulbs. Okay. The graph here shows you, this is efficiency. This is how many lumens per watt you get this rate. So how much light output per amount of electricity you use. So you get very little. Most of the electricity in an incandescent bulb goes into creating heat, which you don't want here in Brisbane. Heat rather than light. So very inefficient. Quartz halogen are more efficient, but not very much more efficient. There's a big step up from quartz halogen up to CFLs, LEDs, and the more efficient, the larger industrial sort of light bulbs. Okay. So the first thing you should do in any household to become more efficient is get rid of all your incandescent bulbs and replace this quartz halogen too, if you can, with LED or CFLs, compact fluorescent light bulbs. So the method I want to look at here is that the fluorescents use more energy when you turn them on and then turn them off, so you only use them in instances where you keep them on for a long time. No. Yes, they do use more energy in startup, but then that startup only lasts for a few cycles. One cycle is 1/50th of a second. So it's a tiny fraction of a second that they use more energy for. Okay. Within a short period of time, and it's a matter of seconds, you get that energy payback. Okay. So unless you're doing this all the time, you're not going to use more energy turning on and off fluorescent light bulbs. I had a colleague do a calculation where he looked at how much energy it would take to blow the fuse. That's the maximum energy. What's the energy payback period for that? And it was a matter of a couple of minutes. Okay? And the reality is it doesn't go anywhere near that. So it's a matter of seconds before you get your energy payback. So you put them in any house, any room in the house. Okay? So a few tips for your household for saving energy. First off, turn off lights. Like everything, be more efficient. If you're not using the room, don't leave the lights on. That's just common sense. Okay? For outside lights, use motion detectors. And we're all guilty of forgetting to turn off outside lights because you don't see them. Use the motion detectors. Pretty simple. They'll pay back. Okay? Use CFLs or LEDs in all lights. Don't use quartz halogen. People think that low current means low energy. It doesn't. Okay? The low current quartz halogen actually use more because it's got a transformer that wastes energy to bring it down to the low current. Sorry, low voltage I should say. Low voltage quartz halogen. Okay? They're not low energy. Look at the wattage. That's how much energy it uses. Okay. And limit the use of downlights. Every downlight, for the old traditional light, you need about 4 downlights for one of your traditional lights. So using 4 times as much energy if you're using downlights. They look prettier, they use more energy. So try to avoid use of downlights if you can. What I've got here is a graph showing you sort of savings you'll get by replacing your incandescent bulbs with CFLs. Okay? The payback period, within a year, you pay back your money. Over the lifetime of the CFL, you'll pay back your money many times over and save several $100s. Okay? It's easy enough to do the calculation. I can give you the Excel spreadsheet. You can plug in, look at your own house and plug it in your own lights and see how much money you'll save. It adds up and you save hundreds of dollars over the lifetime of the light. Okay. A myth that's been circulating, I suppose it's got a bit of basis in reality, but an issue that's been circulating is the health impacts of using CFLs. And there's a range of them. Okay, so we're starting off with flicker from CFLs leading to epileptic fits. Okay. Offices throughout Queensland and everywhere use fluoros, and we don't have a problem with people having epileptic fits. When the people doing sustainable housing regulations contacted one of the hospitals to find out, are we going to have a problem with epileptic fits when we replace incandescents with CFLs, the hospital laughed at them. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. And that's for standard fluoros. CFLs that use electronic dimmers don't have the flicker the way the standard fluoros have. As they near the end of the lifetime they might, that's when it's time to replace the thing. They don't suffer from flicker the way normal fluoros have. And flicker isn't a non-issue for CFLs. Okay. Next problem is the amount of mercury used in CFLs. Yes, every CFL has mercury in it. And so the issue that's been raised is that, well, if we're going to have all the houses throughout Queensland using CFLs, we're going to increase the amount of mercury going to landfills, so we're creating a new environmental problem. The biggest cause of mercury into the environment is from coal-fired power stations. It's atmospheric emissions of mercury. That's a major source of anthropogenic contribution of mercury into the environment from coal-fired power stations. The amount of mercury saved, the amount of electricity saved from using CFLs instead of incandescents, saves more mercury than actually it creates through the tiny amount of mercury that goes in the CFLs. The amount of mercury in the CFLs sort of fits on a pinhead. So yeah, if you break a CFL, the warning is that you sort of leave it alone for I don't know, half an hour or whatever, then you come and clean up the mess, just for safety's sake. Okay? So try not to drop the thing. Okay? Mercury has been looked into in a big way by the health authorities because of what's been raised and been deemed not to be a problem. Okay, what else? Oh, UV radiation is another one that's been raised as an issue for CFLs. Yes, all lighting puts out UV radiation, and CFL a bit more than incandescent. Studies done found that the amount of UV radiation from a CFL is roughly equivalent to the amount of UV radiation you'll get out if you're in England on a summer's day outside. That's the amount of UV radiation you're going to get. So for us here in Australia, not an issue once again. And if you're one of these few people that have this rare disease where you're affected by the UV radiation, if you put glass over it, you'll get no UV radiation through the thing. Okay? So again, another non-issue. Okay. Study done looking at the health impacts of lighting found that the biggest health impact of lighting was burns. Burns from the incandescents, from the quartz halogen, from touching them, that's the biggest health issue that you get from lighting. So CFLs actually reduce health impacts because they don't get as hot as the incandescent bulbs. Embedded energy, so we talked about the amount of energy going into making the thing. That's also been raised as an issue. Of course, there's more energy that goes into making a CFL than incandescent. That's true. Okay? 1.7 kilowatt hours goes into making a CFL. 0.3 kilowatt hours in making an incandescent bulb. So yeah, a lot more energy is used. Yeah? But you'll save 675 kilowatt hours over the lifetime of the system. So the amount of embedded energy is a tiny fraction of what you save in using it. So again, another myth. Trying to pause it here?
Hi David, you can pick that up after you've had a meal. We're going to build your stamina up by offering you a rice chicken meal. So we can certainly pick up from that last slide where you went. We're going to have 20 minutes.